Parker said so. Wake up. Currently in New Zealand, dodging cyclones and earthquakes. Aslan, I know you have had thoughts that we get tripped up somewhere. I do. I just again, Corey mentioned it too. Just it's hard to go 13-0. You're right. I grew up in the dynasty years, and making it through unscathed is a rare exception. But unlike the dynasty years, there is a playoff, so the hope is you don't lose the game that derails the playoff hopes. Thoughts?
Yeah, correct.
Big, huge. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too, though, Corey, right? I mean, Miami game, big game. Florida game, big game. Bowl game, big game. But, man, is it on the level of playing in Charlotte and rematching Clemson for a trip to the playoff? I mean,
no.
Is that, you know?
No, those aren't anything comparable to it. Like, actually, let's say you lose to LSU, beat Clemson, and then you're 11-1 going to Charlotte. You're fourth in the country. Or you're fifth, Clemson's fourth. So, no, you'd be fourth because you'd be ahead of them. So you're fourth, Clemson's fifth. It basically comes down to whoever wins that game has the inside track to get into the playoff. Yeah, man, that's unlike any game they will have ever played. That's a playoff game. They are in the playoffs technically, probably at that point. So no, that'll be a different feel. And Clemson's been there. Now, maybe not many of the players on the roster left have been in those kind of moments, but you feel like they have maybe a bit of advantage when something like that happens. But maybe they don't even make it to Charlotte. Right. Maybe Dabo goes 6-6 and you're playing Pitt again, or you're playing Wake again, or something like that. We can dream, right? We can hope, but that is the beauty. You can go. It's got to be the right. I don't even know if it has to be the right one. Like, you could be, if you beat LSU and Clemson, you'd have to beat Clemson twice, and your loss is at Wake Forest, you'll get in the playoff. If you're 12-1 with wins over LSU and Clemson, you're getting in the playoff. Yeah. If you lose to LSU, and LSU has a nice 9-3, 10-2 season, I just worry again about, I think you're still in. If you win the ACC with one loss, you're in. But if you lose 2 games, no chance. And even if you lose to LSU and win out, because of the way the national consciousness is about the SEC and about the ACC, it'll be like, oh, so the only real team you played, LSU, you lost to. Because you're not going to be able to impress people with a win at Wake or a win at Pitt. That's not going to move the needle like LSU gets when they get to play Alabama or A&M. Or wait, maybe not A&M. That's not a good example. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what I worry about. If you lose to LSU, it's going to be, to me, a lot harder to get in the playoff. If you beat LSU and lose to Clemson and Death Valley, you can just rematch them again in Charlotte. And if you win that game, you're in the playoff, in my opinion. That LSU game is really, really critical.